So what kind of kid would you say that you were? Like, were you into sports really early on, or were you into music?
I was an artist. I used to love to draw. Um, and like I said, man, I was pampered, so I was kept at home. So I was away from all the street stuff, everything street. I was away from that. I was like, it was non-existent for me. I didn't even know how it looked to be. You know how the way you be like, damn, I'm Puerto Rican, but I never been to Puerto Rico.
Right, right.
Yeah, I was Bronx, but I never went outside the Bronx. I would never seen the sidewalks type shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like from the taxi cab inside the building, outside the building to the taxi cab. Until later on, when my mother used to send me to the corner store, and she used to get credit at the corner store. So she used to tell me to go buy a pack of cigarettes and bring her what was it, a 40 ounce of Budweiser and a pack of cigarettes. And here I am, 11 years old, going to the corner store. And they used to give me the pack of cigarettes and beer and all that shit at 11 years old, man, and bring that shit home to my mom. So those are other things that I remember. Man, wow, man, some crazy shit.
Totally different life, different time. And it was probably like an adventure for you because you finally got to.
Honestly, I think that time was one of the best times of my life. Later on, we'll talk about the ultimate best time of my life. But at that time, growing up like that, man, I just was, I gave all praise and glory to my moms, you know what I'm saying, for, what she tried to do. You know what I'm saying? I understood what she was trying to do. It wasn't like trying to imprison me or nothing like that. She was just trying to keep me safe. And, it worked. Here I am. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still here. I listened, and sometimes I didn't listen. But the times that I listened got me to where I'm at today. So, I got to appreciate that.
So you're at 11, you start seeing a little bit more freedom. But at what point do you start jumping into the streets, or did you start to go into sports a little bit more first? Because I know that you kind of went that route a little bit.
The what?
You went, didn't you play Little League and stuff?
Nah, football.
Football, okay.
Yeah, football. I started playing football at 13. That's when I started going out. That's when I was literally outside. We moved into the building where we were when I was 11 on Union Ave. And then at 12 years old, I started getting more freedom. I'll go to the courtyard and shit. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to let us play in the courtyard, 12 years old. And then 7:00, we had to be upstairs. We used to be like, yo, as soon as the shade goes down in your window, you need to get your ass upstairs. So that was our cue to get upstairs. But at 12 years old, that's when I started going outside. But she never let us leave the courtyard unless we had to go to the store for her or something like that. But she just pretty much was in the courtyard. And then at 13 was when things changed. At 13 is when I started meeting people. And then I started getting the friends, started getting more freedom, and then more, how you call it? I wasn't scared to go anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And then I started not listening to mom. That's what I'll tell you. Sometimes you listen and sometimes you don't. So this was the times when I wasn't listening to my moms. And I used to just leave, go to different blocks, and that's how I started exploring everything. And then that's how it started. And then got into football. So yeah, I got into football at that age, and then I found I didn't find a friend of ours. They used to play football. I used to play football with them in the street or whatever. He was like, "Yo, I play with equipment and all this and that." So I was like, "Yeah." So he invited me out one time to go, and it was in Bear Mountain. Bear Mountain, dog. I didn't even tell my mother nothing. I went with these fucking strangers in a car and shit just to go play football. And that's how I started playing football, with leagues and things like that.
So at that time, it's such a critical point in your life because it's okay, you finally hitting puberty. You finally, it's at that stage where it's man, any decision you make could determine your life either way, right? Because then you're starting to get to that point where it's I'm going to start making more of my own decisions. I'm not listening to mom as much anymore. So at that point, are you starting to decide to go into the street activities, or are you just focusing on sports?
Nah. It was more streets than anything. The sports was just there just to have fun and to play, football and stuff like that. But it wasn't It wasn't like something like career thing or nothing like that. It was just football. That's what everybody did. We played football. When it snowed, we played football. When it didn't snow, we played football in the streets and fucking break cars and shit like that. You know what I mean? But me, it was more street, and it turned around when I went to junior high school. When I went to junior high school, that's when the fighting started, and I started fighting a lot, uh, and it was getting a little out of control. And then we just took it to the street, and then the courtyard where my mother used to not let me leave, pretty much became our haven, and that's it's just the junior high school thing. It started pretty rough with me. That's why I just started learning. I just didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to do none of that. But I knew that there was ways to go to school, but not go to school. So we used to just go to junior high school. And I think I was 15 years old, 14, 15, something like that. And I used to leave the junior high school and go right around the corner. It was 158. Used to go right around the corner. And that was the introduction to Forest Projects.
Okay.
Right around the corner was Forest Projects, but there was a high school there that was Morris High School. So I started hanging out at Morris High School, but I was in junior high school. So I started hanging out at Morris High School, started meeting a lot of people, a lot of dudes. And that's when I started getting introduced to the guns and all that. And then my first gang.
So
And
what is the allure for you at that age? Like, why are you interested in going that route? Is it like you bored, or it's like that's like kind of like the influence that you're just seeing around you, and like you're seeing people get it in the streets, and that's like the route you want to take?
with me, it was just the influence.
The influence.
It was the influence, man. Just seeing the people and seeing what they were wearing, because these are things that I couldn't afford. You know what I'm saying? I had a single mother that used to work at Hunts Point in the apple factory. Feel me? I didn't even know what a color TV was until I was like fucking 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? My mom's bring home the first color TV, and I remember it had a wire attached to it and a button. So she got a TV from a hospital, bro. It had a button where you could change channels with a button. And that was the first time in my life that I found out the Smurfs were blue. I thought the Smurfs were were gray and black. Didn't even know they were colored until she brought that TV home. So just, I'm probably going to be jumping back and forth a little bit.
Right.
But, that's just the shit that be hitting me as we go. But as with the block and that was my first introduction to Forest Projects. Not to the family. I call my original Terror Squad brothers and sisters my family. Not necessarily, Terror Squad, TS, whatever. But that was my family. But I didn't meet the family yet.